Hello, traders. Welcome to the closing print this Easter Sunday, March the 31st. In today's video, we'll discuss the persistent trend in the U.S. indices while considering the start of earnings season in just 2 weeks. Breadth is bullish, as well as 9 other indicators. 9 are neutral and 2 are bearish. So let's get started. Breadth indicators are bullish with the S&P 500, mid caps, small caps, and NASDAQ in descending order, all pointing higher above zero, but not above plus 30%. So that's telling you that there is energy in the tank to follow through if we break above 5,300 on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ continues higher. It would be nice to see IWM also follow through and for the New York FANG index to bounce with those 10 components giving us a bullish follow-through. That said, we'll be watching for direction to start the week. The NASDAQ McClellan oscillator is neutral to slightly bullish. We can see NASI, the summation index, is also neutral, looking for a bullish crossover, while the New York Stock Exchange McClellan oscillator remains bullish, making higher highs and higher lows, and the NYSE, the summation index, is above the 20-period moving average and making new highs. Those new highs also accentuated by the NYHL, new highs, new lows on the New York Stock Exchange. You can see higher peaks and staying above zero as we make new highs, the black lines making higher highs and higher lows, and the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline also giving us a higher high. That's telling you breadth is improving and the index is making new all-time highs. The 10-year Treasury yield has been consolidating below 4.35% for the last 4 or 5 weeks. RSI has been drifting lower along with MACD and stochastics trending. So there's a possibility we could drop below the 200-day this week. So keep an eye on the 10-year yield. That would give us a headwind if it continues to move higher, and a tailwind if we manage to see this drop below 4.2%. Conversely, the bonds have been moving higher. In this case, the 20-year Treasury bonds back above the 50 and the 200-day moving average in a sideways range, looking for a direction, maybe that upper Bollinger Band. If you're bullish equities, you want to see the 10-year move lower and TLT grinding a bit higher. In addition to a reversal possibly for the bulls, if the US dollar moves back down towards the 50-day, that would be bullish. Presently, we're grinding higher, US dollar, giving the bulls a run for their money. If the US dollar breaks out above 105, I would say that's probably going to be a headwind going into April and May. But if we can manage to move back into the Bollinger Bands, back down towards the 50 and the 200-day, that should help equity bulls. One of the bearish indicators this week is the CRB index. As commodities rise, you would think that equities would pull back in a little bit. This is bearish for equities if this continues. So keep an eye on the CRB index as well as crude oil. You can see Brent crude is in a bullish trend. It reversed in December, January, and just continues to move through the 50 and 200-day, and now is trending to new highs for the year, together with a bullish breakout in the precious metals, gold breaking out to new highs on volume, MACD and stochastics pointing higher. So look for these short-term trends in gold and Brent to continue, along with commodities. If those three continue to move higher, we could see some equity weakness in the short term. Sectors were mostly bullish last week. We had some slack in communications, tech, and consumer discretionary. Biotechs, the IBB, also pulling back a little bit. But for the week, the markets fared well. Metals and mining outperforming, along with utilities, energy, and healthcare. Retail also doing fairly well, along with materials and financials. All of the sectors are above their 21-day moving average. IBB is testing along with the semiconductors, but the majority of sectors look fairly strong and could see a follow-through this week. Watch the stocks in the scans below and the IBD 50 list for setups this week. Pharmaceuticals did show some strength. There are some names there. ASND, that could see a follow-through. With these stocks from the oversold and turning scan pointing to a potential follow-through in many of these names to start the week. ASND, pharmaceuticals, bouncing at the 50-day with a hanging man candle pushing back above 150 with the stock showing consolidation. Tight Bollinger Bands. Look for this to break higher if this momentum continues. RSI is showing strength of trend and stochastics with MACD turning, giving us possibilities of new highs yet again. Bluebird Bio indicating a breakout as Bollinger Bands expand and prices run the upper bands. 921 50-day, all pointing up and to the right. RSI is above 70. Looking for a follow-through, stochastics and MACD, along with volume indicating a bullish trend. Possible continuation this week. Interactive brokers in a tight squeeze, looking for this upper band to open up along with the lower band, pull away from price action, indicating an explosion in volatility. Looking for RSI to continue along with MACD and stochastics. Volume picking up last week. Looking for IBKR to follow through, along with a bullish trend in Charles Schwab making higher highs and higher lows. With stochastics and MACD pointing higher, RSI above 70. Looking for this trend to continue. Permian Resources from previous watch lists continues higher. This is a broadcasting and media company with a definite bullish trend. RSI is showing muscle, strength of trend, relatively inexpensive stock. Looks like it could follow through this week. Volume was well above average for the last 4 to 5 weeks, indicating institutions have been picking up shares. RSI, MACD, and stochastics are all bullish. Natera and the healthcare related names. This company is in DNA testing. Tight Bollinger Bands, looking for an explosion in Bollinger Bands here as well. Move outside the Keltner channels to trigger a TTM squeeze. RSI is above 70. Volume looks pretty strong, and MACD and stochastics looks like they could turn in the short term. Keep an eye on this one. Maybe a little bit more consolidation, but a break to the upside would definitely be pointing to a bullish trend continuation after a 4-week consolidation. Blue Owl Capital, a lot of people talked about this one over the last couple of weeks. Bollinger Bands expanding, RSI rising. This is a asset manager. Volume continues higher, showing institutions have been picking up shares for the last couple of weeks. MACD and stochastics rising. I'd look for a little pullback to the 9 EMA perhaps before this continues higher as a potential setup this week. Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines continues higher after breaking out of a flat base in the last couple of weeks, trending with Carnival reporting last week and retreating back to the 50-day. We're looking for a bounce in the short term. Carnival reported good numbers. It looks like they were selling the news, so keep an eye on this one. It's probably building the right side of a cup. I just would wait for the bulls to show up and for the volume to turn green in the short term. As travel and leisure stocks continue to show strength, Make My Trip also trending to new highs on volume over the last 3 to 4 weeks. Looking for a pullback to the 9 or 21 day. The trend most likely will continue. RSI showing muscle above 70, indicating strength of trend. Stochastics and MACD also pushing higher. Shockwave Medical trending to new highs. This is one that Farmer Jim was looking at. Philip, nice trend continuation over the last several months. If you're still in this one, looks really good. Trading at highs, obviously in the cardiovascular business from the healthcare industry. Toast in the software restaurant related business. Tight Bollinger Bands, looking for RSI to continue higher. MACD and stochastics showing strength of trend, should continue. Look for a breakout to the upside with the company reporting again on May 16th. software, point of sale, digital ordering, and delivery, among other things. Nice earnings growth and revenue growth with the stock breaking to new highs. Looking for a follow through in the short term. Okay, traders, that's going to do it for me. This is Cousin Vinny coming to you from theclosingprint.com, March the 31st, 2024. For now, just remember to check these names below. Most of these stocks look very bullish. Looking for a follow through after dropping to an oversold condition and turning. Many of them look like they could follow through this week. I'll send out a watch list later tonight around 12 midnight on the East Coast, around 9 o'clock on the West Coast. Be sure to check your inbox for that. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Easter, and we'll see you in the morning. Ciao.